I'm Sarah Hagger-Holt and I'm the author of this book, Nothing Ever Happens Here, that was published earlier this year. Nothing Ever Happens Here is a story about 12-year-old Izzy, who lives with her mum, her dad, her big sister Megan and her little brother Jamie. And she thinks her family is pretty ordinary, pretty boring. And the town where she lives in, Littlehaven, is pretty ordinary and boring too. In fact, she says it's a place where nothing ever really happens. But a few things do happen to Izzy during the course of the book, and one of them is that her dad comes out as trans. And she and her family and her best friend and her other friends at school all have to come to terms and get used to things being a bit different to how they expected. And this book tells their story. I got the idea of the book from when I was talking to lots of lesbian, gay, bi and trans parents in the process of researching this book, Pride and Joy, which shares the wisdom, experience and stories from lots of different families, some of whom are a bit like Izzy's. So now I'm going to read you a little bit from Nothing Ever Happens Here. The first bit I'm going to read comes from chapter 1, right at the beginning of the book. On my bedside table, the clock flashes 03:03. I'm awake. I don't know what's woken me up, but now that I'm awake, I'm hungry. Mum always moans about the amount I eat. Another jar of peanut butter scraped clean. Another packet of Weetabix gone. Another loaf of bread with only the crusts left at the bottom of the bag. I don't know where you put it all, she says. Leave something for the rest of us, Izzy. But Dad says, give her a break, Kath. She's just growing, aren't you, Izzy? Everyone's got to grow. And he crouches down to pretend he's smaller than me, and I'm a giant towering over him. Sometimes I like it, but sometimes it's just a bit embarrassing. I lie there for a bit, thinking perhaps I'll go back to sleep. 03:04, 03:05. No, definitely hungry. I pull on my pink dressing gown and quietly head downstairs, thinking there might be some Rice Krispies left. I go past Megan's room, past Jamie's, with its tatty Thomas the Tank Engine poster still hanging on the door, past Mum and Dad's. I'm halfway down the stairs before I hear something. It's a kind of snuffling sound and a gasping sound and a hiccuping sound. It's so odd that I stop where I am and listen more closely. Then I realise it's someone crying, not just a little bit. It's the sort of crying that stops you breathing properly, that leaves you all snotty and headachy and swollen-eyed. There's light coming from under the living room door. I can hear Mum's voice murmuring softly, but not what she's saying. The crying continues. It's Dad. Of course I've seen Dad cry before. He sniffs all the way through The Wizard of Oz and Marley and Me, welling up long before the dog dies. But nothing like this. My stomach turns in on itself. I'm not hungry anymore. I head back to my room and curl up tight under my duvet, thinking of something, anything, to try and get the sound of Dad crying out of my head. I think about my 12 times table, the names of all the children in The Sound of Music in order, what I'm going to wear tomorrow on the first day of the summer holidays. The numbers on the clock blink past. 03:07, 03:08. So I'd like to read you a little bit more now from later on in the book, because although it starts with quite a lot of difficulty and drama, things gradually get more normal again for Izzy and her family, and they have to work out some new things they haven't thought about before. And one of them is what they're going to call their dad. And this is a conversation between Izzy, Megan and Jamie. There's one thing we need to do, I say. We need to come up with a new name for us to call Dad. I thought Dad would still be okay, but it's not really. Except maybe inside my head. It feels wrong now. But we can't use Danielle either, like everyone else does. That's even more weird. Megan nods. OK then, we need to talk to Jamie too. She jumps up. I've got an idea, back in a minute. And I hear her making her way down the stairs to Mum's office. She comes back quickly, with Jamie riding delightedly on her back. Come on, Izzy, we're giving Jamie his bath today. Let's get the water running. Mum was a little bit suspicious about why we were being so helpful, but she wasn't going to argue. Jamie loves bath time. He's normally in there for ages. Bubbles everywhere, sailing boats and dunking animals, and pretending to swim the channel. And then he loves running through the house afterwards, leaving wet footprints and sodden towels everywhere. The bath fills with water and foam, and Jamie's jumping up and down with excitement at all the attention. Megan tests the temperature, and then he bounds in. "Your faces are a bit funny looking," he says, sitting down as we both lean over the side. "Your eyes are all red." "Don't be so cheeky," says Megan in a mock scary voice, "or I'll wash you down the plug hole." Jamie squeals with delight. "Look, Jamie," I say, "we've got something important to talk about without Mum and Dad here." "Is it about Christmas?" says Jamie excitedly. "Is it about my birthday?" "No, it's not about Christmas or your birthday. They're not for ages. It's about Dad. You know how he's going to be a woman now?" interrupts Jamie helpfully. "Yeah, that's right. Well, we need to decide what we're going to call Dad." "Dad's not the right name for a woman, is it?" pitches in Megan. "What about Mummy?" says Jamie. "Ugh, no," says Megan. "Sorry, Jamie. Good idea, but too babyish. Izzy and I are too grown up for Mummy." "And Mum's no good because we've already got a Mum," I add. "Mum 1 and Mum 2, says Megan, and makes a face to show she's joking. "Mum A and Mum B, I respond. "Maybe not. This is hard." "Mummy Daddy, says Jamie. It's a bit of a mouthful. Try saying that a few times in a row. And then she tries. And it sounds like a tongue twister, and we all burst out laughing. It's been a long time since the three of us have laughed like this all together. "I know," I say with sudden inspiration, when I can speak again without giggling. "What about D?" "D?" says Megan, raising her eyebrows. "Yeah, D. Short for Danielle and short for Dad. Sounds like a girl's name. Not too much of a tongue twister. I feel rather pleased that I've thought of something so neat." "D," says Megan slowly. Maybe you've got it, Izzy. What do you think, Jamie?" "I like D," shouts Jamie, smacking his hands into the bubbles so that foam spurts into the air and bathwater splashes Megan and me. Before long there's a full-blown water fight going on, soaking the bathroom, so that later on Mum will roll her eyes and ask us if we've been raised by wolves or born in a barn or something like that. But I don't care, because I think maybe we might all be okay. So thanks very much for listening to that reading from Nothing Ever Happens Here.